What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. Y'all hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. I got content for everybody. What I'm about to say may ruffle some feathers. What I'm about to say may seem harsh, but it's simply the truth. And y'all know me well enough on this channel to know that I'm a very empathetic person, right? My friend group, they know that I'm more empathetic than a lot of people. So when I say this, I'm not trying to be disrespectful or be mean. I'm just being honest. So let me just catch y'all up to speed for those who don't know. About a month ago, a little bit over a month ago, there were immigrants who came from, well, they were in Texas, but they came from Central and South America, right? Texas and other places, I think New York maybe, sent those immigrants to Chicago, right? I guess it was too many people, or they like, hey, some of you all have to go to Chicago. They were then sent to Chicago, my hometown where I'm at now, right? They were sent to Chicago, and they were allowed to live in the police stations. They were given, places to sleep. And again, they've been in the police station and so on and so forth. They got resources being set up for them and all of those things, right? In fact, City Council approved a $51 million, well, they approved $51 million in funding for migrant housing. Allegedly from a 2021 budget surplus to pay for the efforts to care for these migrants, right? They're getting $51 million. They're getting $51 million in funding for migrant housing. And again, they've been sleeping in the police station and all. And while I am all for human rights, 1,000%, I'm all for human rights, because I've seen my black people get their human rights be violated for a long time, and black people have been dehumanized for centuries, okay, right? But I'm all for people achieving their wildest dreams. I'm all for people being protected and being treated as humans. I don't like inhumane things at all. But here's my problem with this. You have people coming to Chicago and immediately getting placed here. They're getting housing, all type of resources to help them improve their way of life. When we have homeless people in Chicago, all throughout Lower Wacker Drive, all downtown on State Street, posted up by the red line, all on Michigan Avenue, where a lot of the biggest stores that make the most money, you have homeless people all up and down those areas, looking for housing, hoping to be placed somewhere. They can never get service the way they're supposed to, right? There aren't accommodations made for them at all. They don't have any resources for them. And a lot of these homeless people have served the country, right? They've worked certain jobs before and fell on hard times. Everybody that's homeless is not drug addicted. Contrary to the popular belief, everybody that's homeless did not make just bad decisions. Things happen and they fell on hard times. How many people we know lost everything? When COVID came and there were budget cuts, they had to lay people off. I know people who lost their homes during that time period because they couldn't afford to pay for certain things. And they couldn't pay for it anymore. They got laid off. And unfortunately, the extra money that we got, and because I got laid off, the extra money that we got, and what's the word I'm looking for? Unemployment checks, the unemployment, it didn't help some people, right? And they will never get these resources. They will never allow homeless people in Chicago to be laying up and posted up in a police station. The police will scoff at them and look at them like they ain't nothing. Now, we can also add that some of the police officers were having sex with some of these women that were in there and got some of them pregnant. I think allegedly got an underage girl pregnant in there too. So that's a terrible violation, and they encroaching and using their power to, of course, force those women to submit to their will, because they're in a position of power over them, right? And I feel for those women who had to endure that, and I feel terrible about it. And I hope they get the justice they deserve and get counseling and so on and so forth from that. But what I'm saying is, I'm not focused on that. I'm just saying that, we have people in our communities who've been around and just fell on hard times and who've been struggling. They can never get help from nowhere. They have nobody to turn to. They are told, by the government, it's your fault that you're in this position. You need to fix yourself. what you call it? What did I say? Grab yourself by the bootstraps, pick yourself up by the bootstraps, lace them up, and go ahead and go work. And you have people who just are coming to the country, coming to the city of Chicago, just getting help immediately. That ain't right to me. That's not right, man. Chicago got to do better by its own homeless population. We got people who have mental issues, mental health. They ride through the red line trains all day long. Knowing they need help, they just displaced. A lot of the mental health facilities got closed down in Chicago. They're just roaming through Chicago. You know, you can see they need help. They need medication. They need these things to be, they need services for them to be, so they can be better. And they're not able to get it. But you have immigrants coming to the country and they're just getting everything that they need. That's puzzling to me, man. That's crazy to me, man. And then my problem is that you have some of those same immigrant groups that have children and grandchildren, and their grandchildren will try to tell my grandchildren or my children, hey, you shouldn't be complaining about nothing. My grandfather, my grandmother, my mother and father came over here with nothing, and they came and made a life for themselves. Man, ma'am, your grandmother and grandfather got all type of housing benefits, all type of resources. They're able to get loans that black people will never get in this country. Loans that we will never be able to be approved for. You know, and it happens all the time. Immigrants get a ton of loans and stuff that black Americans can never get. And then they try to come over here and talk shit and talk down on us like we ain't doing shit with our life. We like, bro, we ain't getting them benefits you getting. We not getting looked out and cared for like that. You know, and to me, that is a problem. You know, black people, like, listen, it's been black people who've been homeless in America who've been overlooked and scoffed at and all of that. And even it's non-black people that's homeless in America. Homeless in Chicago, they just be, whatever. Everybody look at them and run away from them and don't care to help them in any type of way. And you got people who just coming right over to Chicago and just getting all the assistance they need. And again, they need assistance for sure. I'm all for them getting help. They should get help. But the people who've been here and been homeless forever and living outside in the harsh, cruel ass winters of Chicago, they need help too. A lot of them, they've served this country. And they were law-abiding, hard-working people, and they fell on hard times and had nowhere to go to. They didn't have no family to help them and support them. And they're not getting none of those resources. That's a shame to me. You know? You got people, again, they will never allow them homeless people on Lower Record Drive to sleep in the Chicago police stations. They're not coming to cover them like that at all. At all, man. And I don't think that's cool. I don't think that's fair. You know, and then you got black people who are mad about it because not that we don't want to see other people get helped. Not that we don't want to see other people get service. We know what it feels like to be on the lower end of the stick. You know, we know what it feels like to get the short end of the stick. We know what it feels like to be undervalued, to be maligned. We know what it feels like to be underserved tremendously, marginalized. We know what all the words you can think of. But we like, yo, get them their services. But what about us? What about some of our people who out here just roaming the streets and don't know where to go? They need help and they trying to find ways. They getting turned away from certain places they want to go. I'm talking about getting discarded and getting scoffed and just it kills me, man. You know, and people don't like when I say this, but I'm gonna say it. I don't give a fuck. You know, we had black people. Our black people that came over here was raped, stolen, beaten, chained, all of that, and get mad when we try to ask for when we request reparations. We try to get reparations. They get mad at us. But you got people who coming over here immediately just getting reaping the benefits of just being coming over here, getting the help and all type of resources. Like, yo, what was some of the resources that our ancestors needed growing up? This shit we need right now in this economy that's inflated as hell. You know, you got people we are enduring inflation in America. Eggs was $10 recently. Again, I always say this. We going to the grocery store window shopping because stuff is so high, it's so expensive. You like, yo, what is going on out here? Just regular food is high as hell. Things getting higher and higher and higher. Uber's getting higher. This getting higher, and the jobs are not trying to match the salary to the inflation rate. They're not trying to increase pay. They're trying to keep you on the same pay while rent is getting sky high, bro. Rent didn't went up crazy. My rent went up $250. You know what I'm saying? My rent didn't went up. So, like, it's people that can't handle those things. Rent go up. They like, I'm barely making it. How can I get this money up? How can I do this? How can I give this? I have no choice, man. I gotta move. I gotta leave. I can't pay this, but where am I supposed to go? Them people never gonna get out. They never gonna get service. They gonna get looked at like the scum, like the scum at the bottom of people's shoe. And I'm stuttering and all of that because but yeah, man, I feel people like, yo, where is the help for people who've been in Chicago the whole time? Yes, you can help the immigrants who come over here, for sure, help them, but help us too. What about what we've been going through? What about, trying to make ends meet? People trying to hustle the best they can with this inflated economy. Trying to do this, trying to do that, trying to do this and trying to do that. I didn't have this channel for a long time, but I can tell y'all for real, I've been getting to it in the inflated economy because I got stuff I got to pay for my children. I got stuff I got to pay for myself. I got things my kids need, they need, not want, they need. And you got to do whatever you got to do out here. But I feel people like, yo, how can people who just came over here get $51 million in funding? They get all type of migrant housing, all type of stuff. They rent probably going to be $5. Meanwhile, people rent getting higher and higher. His rent is getting fucking ridiculous out here. Especially because it's costing more to buy homes now. So a lot of people are backed into a corner. You're forced to rent. And these landlords know it. Putting $350 increases on rent. Rent $3,200 in the far south side of Chicago. Right? What the fuck? This ain't downtown. Rent costing more in certain other areas, in certain pockets of small areas in Chicago. It's costing more in the pockets of small areas on the south side than it is downtown. And downtown should always be more because you're paying for the high-rise view and all that shit down there. But downtown costing $2,800. You got certain pockets of small, of nice neighborhoods in Chicago. They didn't went up to $3,200. What the fuck? How? He's like, yo, I can't survive in this economy. This shit is getting pressure getting put on people at every turn, and they're not being alleviated. But then you have people who just come here and just get immediate alleviation and help with everything and get a lot of different resources. And they're like, yo, what about us? Yes, you can help them for sure, but what about us? And again, my problem is I've seen it before. I've seen in these discussion forums and these comment sections of videos where black people talk about the plight of black Americans and, what our ancestors, the grandmothers, the grandfathers went through when they didn't have money and all this and all of that and didn't have any education. And then you get families of immigrants coming in the comment section. My grandfather came over here with no education or nothing. He went out here and worked and all that. Come to find out their grandfather got a hefty ass loan from the government that the black man, your black grandfather and grandmother never could get. So don't come talking this shit against us to use as ammo to talk down on our people like we was just lazy and slackers. No, we didn't get the loans that a lot of other people get when they come into the country and they just get granted resources and certain things. So yes, give those immigrants resources that they need, but give it to our people too. Give it to the people in Chicago who homeless and been homeless for a long time, roaming the streets and goddamn -5 degree weather. It's 5 below outside, not right now I'm saying, but in the winter it be 5 below, 10 below, 20 below. They be outside trying to find shelter, trying to stay warm. 30-something degrees outside, it's cold as hell, you can see your breath. Trying to find shelter, and they get turned away at every turn and looked at like scum at the bottom of their shoe. But you got migrants coming in getting everything that they need. That's crazy, man. All right, y'all, I'm done ranting, man. Machiavelli Mills TV. Hopefully y'all see my point. I'm out. Peace.